So hello everybody, it is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Walter, Verbal Herb, and it is Wealth Wednesdays where we discuss all types of financial situations, how to make and save money, ultimately to be better off financially. Of course, we are going to start off with a very unfortunate story of Shanquella Robinson. I'm just going to wait for y'all to get on in here, but of course, Walter is our financial expert. He has been in the financial services industry for about 30 years, give or take, at this point, where he's worked with a whole host of people, from everyday people to celebrities, with the goal of helping everybody preserve wealth, right? So we would love for you to throw your financial questions in the comment section, and anything else you really want to talk about. We are here really just to give advice, not only just about money, but everything else in between. Hopefully my mic is not being muffled there. But anyway, so again, yeah, we're going to talk about what happened to Shanquella Robinson. Some of y'all may not have heard about it. It's starting to trend a little bit, but I'll get into that in just a second. So Walter, what say you before we get started?
There's actually quite a bit going on. Actually, this is one of the first weeks I've been following current events. I try not to follow current events because of my net drops, but I watched a little YouTube, some little Negrito TV, so we can get into that.
Some Negrito TV. Wow. Hey, Brother Reggie, TV. How you doing? Yes, indeed. Y'all coming to the chat. Please like it. Would love and appreciate you if you do that. So I'm going to give everybody about another 15 seconds or so to get in here, because I hate for people to say, oh my God, what are we talking about? What happened? I think this is a story that everybody really needs to talk about. Hello, Chico. How you doing? Everybody needs to talk about and spread the word, because it's not trending. Well, it is trending now, but of course, we're not going to see stuff like this on mainstream media. So it is our job in Black media to talk about the stories that affect us. So, all right, without further ado, I'll go ahead and get into it. So I'm about to show y'all a video, a news clip that's actually kind of been bringing awareness to what's happened to Miss Shanquella Robinson. She's a 25-year-old that took a trip to Mexico with her friends, and unfortunately, she did not come back. So I am going to play this video, and then we'll get into a discussion about it. So here we go.
For 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson and her group of friends who went to Cabo to celebrate one of their birthdays.
She told me they had a chef they was getting ready to eat. They was eating tacos, something, salad or something they was eating. And I said, well, okay, I love you, have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I never talked to my child again, and she never made it back home.
Robinson's mom, Salamandra, says within 24 hours of her daughter's arrival, she was dead. Figuring out how or why has only added to the family's nightmare. It started with a frantic call from Robinson's friends.
They said she wasn't feeling well. She had alcohol poisoning. They couldn't get a pulse. Each one of the people that was there with her was telling different stories.
It's when the family made calls to the FBI and Mexican authorities that they learned of another potential cause of death.
And the autopsy came back. They said it didn't have anything to do with alcohol. Said that she had a broken neck, and her spine in the back was cracked. She had been beaten.
Salamandra says the entire group came back from Mexico, leaving her daughter's body there. Nearly 2 weeks and $6,000 later, her body is back home. But answers have been hard to come by.
You know, I know that's not going to bring my child back, but I want something done about it.
Queen City News has spoken with officials at the U.S. State Department in Mexico who refute the claim that Robinson was murdered, saying the police's initial indication is that there was no clear evidence of foul play. Here in Charlotte, her family refuses to believe their daughter's death was an accident, and they vow to find the truth of what happened that night in Cabo.
No one told the same story, so I never believed them anyway.
Queen City News obtained Robinson's death certificate, which lists a cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which is instability in the uppermost vertebrae. In a section where police could have noted any sign of intoxication, it says, person found unconscious on her living room.
And they didn't call us to the very last minute. And then on top of that, they said the maid found them.
The group stayed here at Villa Linda 32, a property listed on CaboVillas.com. A rep with the company says the group called the concierge for help Saturday afternoon. The concierge called a doctor who gave CPR. Robinson died at 3 p.m., an estimated 15 minutes after her injury.
So, as you saw there, and I know that's a very difficult story, and I just want to kind of recap her mother, Shalamandra, and her father also, who's not in this video. They said that initially they were called at various times by the friends saying, oh, she's not feeling well. Then ultimately they got the news that their daughter had passed. They were told that she died of alcohol poisoning. Now, again, she went to Cabo in Mexico with 6 other people. And I actually want to put them up here on the screen. So that is Shanquella and the friends. And those friends' names are, because I think it's important for people to know who these people are that she went on a trip with. So Khalil Cook, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, Dejanay Jackson, and Nazir Wiggins. That's who you see on the screen. Now, the one with the orange shirt, that's supposed to be her best friend. The guy with the Yankee hat on and the orange shirt, that's supposed to be her best friend. And these other people, I guess they kind of all know each other to some degree, but I'll get into them in just a minute. So anyway, they sounds like they got there on Friday. And then Saturday, she was pronounced dead. Now, originally, again, they said it was alcohol poisoning. But then when the autopsy came out, her family learned that she did have a broken neck and a cracked spine, right? Now, I don't know if you guys know anything about how the body works, but it takes a lot of force to do that to somebody. Well, all right. Doesn't really buy the alcohol poisoning angle until I'm not going to show y'all this video now. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm not going to show y'all the video. Y'all probably seen the video. It's very brutal. It's very gruesome. And let me actually put her picture up because I want y'all to get a good look at her. So bear with me here. One moment. Y'all should see who I'm talking about.
Which picture you showing us? The her alive or dead?
No. I'm sorry. Let me. I'm not gonna show y'all that. No.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna show y'all the picture of the person that I'm about to talk about. So let me put it up here.
She looked like she was tall. She might have been strong.
Yeah, but I'm gonna show you. Okay. So this is the person that we are going to talk about that was in the other video. Now, this other video that has since surfaced, because remember, the mama and them thought, she died of alcohol poisoning. Now, I would believe that at the time of the video I just showed you, her parents and her family and them did not see the video I'm going to tell you about. Now, I'm going to show you. Now, they are apparently in this villa that they all rented together as they went to Cabo. And in this video, this woman here, I shouldn't even call her a woman, I'm going to call her a beast. She was beating the crap out of, they call her Quella, affectionately Quella. She was beating the crap out of her, okay? And not only that, Quella was unclothed, had no clothes on at all. Now I tell you, in this video, she was manhandling her, slinging her all over the room because she's got this lady here on the screen. She has some size on her. So she's slinging her all over the room. And at one point in the video, you can see where she slung her and you can see where she hit her back on the bed. Now, I don't know if that's what happened to her, but the girl, Quella, she's, a lot smaller than her. And needless to say, somebody in that room filmed the whole thing and they kept telling her to fight back. Quella, fight back. And she was saying no. Basically, she doesn't want to fight back. Now, Dejanay here was whooping on her so bad to where she felt the need to take her own bonnet off and they commenced to beating her. All right. So I don't know how that video got out. If I had to speculate, I think somebody probably sent it to their friend and was like, oh, let me send you a video of what happened because, everybody's got a friend that's got a friend that ain't going to say nothing, right? So this video surfaces and it's like, wait a minute. What happened to alcohol poisoning? Now, look, and she's got this broken neck and this broken back. So clearly the alcohol poisoning thing did not jive. Now, Mexico, as you saw in the video, they were saying they don't see any foul play, but maybe they didn't see, the video. They didn't learn of the video. But also her family said that she was bruised and looked like she had been beaten. And so I don't know if the Mexican authorities just didn't really do their job or they was like, well, we don't really see anything. The friend said she was, poisoned by alcohol. Okay, whatever. But again, when everything came out, it's clearly something else happened to her. Now, Again, that allegedly happened to her on Friday, and they did not find her until Saturday. In fact, they said the maid found her. Now, mind you, if you see the register that they had, let me see if I can find that for you, so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about. One moment, I'm gonna show y'all the register. So the register basically, when you sign in, hopefully I can find it. Give me one moment. Hopefully I don't lose y'all. I'm not gonna find it, so I'm not gonna find it right now. But anyway, there's, you know how you sign in on stuff like a guest registry or whatever, so you can see all of their names. So clearly they're all in the same room. Okay, so how do you not know that this girl is, as they said, the maid found her slumped over in a tub or the toilet, on the toilet or something? How do you not know that this girl that y'all went on a vacation with is in that situation, right? And so her best friend Khalil, he's saying that he wasn't there, that he didn't get there until the next day, and he didn't know what happened to her. He's saying that they just told her him that she was sick, so he didn't really know. And I guess now he knows, so he's all online saying, I didn't know. They just told me she was sick. So there's a lot of stuff that still needs to come out. But I will say that a lot of people are upset about what happened to Shanquella. People are on the heads of those people who somebody sent me a message on the heads of those people who were there with her, saying nah, we're not buying the alcohol poisoning. And so people are calling for justice. The FBI sounds like they're involved in the United States Homeland of whatever security is, or however they, whatever department is that they deal with people who go overseas and things happen to them. They're now involved. And so I don't know, y'all. I don't think there was any alcohol poisoning. It seems like there was a severe beating, and the girl, Deja name, will put her back on up there so y'all can see her. She was the one that was beating that poor girl mercilessly, just beating. I've like you see these videos online, and you wonder what drives a person to the point of doing somebody so horrible. Like, never in her mind, and I'm talking about her here on the screen, Dejanay, in her mind, did she think I might kill this girl? I might severely harm this girl? And then she doesn't have any clothes on, like she's completely naked, and I'm doing this to her. And as I was watching it, I'm like, something wrong with this girl. She's got either a lot of hate, jealousy, just pure evil. Her beating her like that in front of whoever was in that room, and somebody was filming, which, I think whoever was in that room, I think they should be held accountable as accomplices. Was she trying to degrade her, embarrass her? I mean, I have questions. And so it also made me ask, who are we raising? I mean, Shanquella is 25 years old, so I wouldn't imagine these people that was with her was that much older. And if you see in this girl's profile here, it says aspiring healthcare professional. So if you're an aspiring healthcare professional and I don't know what she does, did you think that was something you should be doing to that girl? You didn't think that you was going to kill her? If, that's what happened to her, which it sounds like you did. I don't know, y'all. I have questions, and I know y'all do. So I'm going to get to every last one of your comments. Walter, what say you about this very sad and unfortunate situation?
It's exhausting, actually, because it's the Mexican police. They come in, the maid, they probably went in there, cleaned up. They probably moved her so they could get the room ready for the next person. Mexico, they don't play games like that. They don't. They have so many murders, so much corruption. In America, there's a crime scene. They won't touch it. In Mexico, they probably clean the tub. Somebody probably spent the night in that room. In Cabo San Lucas. Number 1, 2. Cabo's a crappy place anyways. It's dangerous, especially right now. And the problem is people get to go over there, they get to drinking, party up, acting a fool. You see it. Instagram, famous. I'm drunk, I'm high. And I'm doing it in a foreign country, which is even worse. So, they probably had too much to drink. I mean, if she's beating her up, then damn, she probably killed her. That's a big girl. She looked like she about 6 feet tall.
She's a big girl. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't listen. I don't. If y'all saw the video, you know, y'all know what I'm saying. I don't advise y'all go look for it, because I think it was probably taken to degrade. You know, Shanquella, she's no longer here, and it's very hard to
Somebody
watch.
took a video of her, one of her friends,
And that's how the other story came out. Because originally they were saying that, oh, you know, she died of alcohol poisoning, and then this video surfaced of her being beaten, like brutally beaten. And so that's now how everybody's talking about. Like, wait a minute, it wasn't no alcohol poisoning. She was probably beaten to death.
who takes a video, shares it, and then who are these people that are even sharing? Anyways, you know what? That's
Well,
the state.
it was a guy, whoever it was, he was on behind the video saying, "Fight back, Quella, fight back," and she was saying no. But you know, she didn't want to fight her back, and she wasn't even defending herself or anything. She was just, you know, taking the blows and the kicks, and it was horrible. It's horrible.
And they're recording this. This is the state of people these days. You know, that the video I watched 3.5 hours, Hebrews to Negroes to what the fuck? Like, Jesus Christ, like what would our ancestors say? It's unfortunate. But you know what? It all goes back to what I say. You have to have a stable foundation. You know, like, I mean, I don't know. It's depressing. I don't really have a lot to say about it. You know, I just think people need to make better decisions. You know, you going to Mexico. I've been to Mexico 100 times. I mean, when I do go to Mexico, I don't drink like that. But I see people stumbling, partying, heels in their hand, just barely standing up. And that stuff is Instagram cool. It's what everybody's doing. So now you have this woman who's dead. She's probably a real nice girl. The whole country's talking about it, especially Black people, which means now we have one more thing to deal with. One more thing to take our eye off the ball, from the money, everything that's supposed to be going on. This is one more distraction. You know, like, one thing I always go back to is what Kanye said. People get killed in Chicago every day, all day, every day, even on Christmas. So, yeah, it sucks that she was in Mexico when this happened, but like, we need to give this type of attention to every death that happens, you know, to every event. You know, today's Wednesday. I will accept that, Katie. Cool with that. Every Wednesday, like tonight, somebody's getting killed in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? But we need to start dealing with the issue at hand. And what is it that makes our kids, our people, to the point where they were videotape something like that? Mm-hmm. I mean, to answer your question, Katie, I don't think Mexico, they have murders too all day. So I was there a couple months ago, and they had a body in the street. I mean, it's normal there. You go to Mexico and get a speeding ticket, you're not getting justice. So this is something they're going to have to try and do in the U.S. But my question is, how much time and energy do we spend prosecuting people that are worth zero, worth nothing on the earth? You know, the best thing to do with these, never mind. I'm going to leave that to myself. But if I was the president, if I was running this country, the woman that was beating her up, and the dude with the camera, they would just end up missing. That's it. Just be over. No trial. We ain't gonna waste money on lawyers. We don't know what happened to them. They just disappeared. They start doing that. I mean, with proof, like, they're beating the girl. They videotaped the evidence. I'm not saying, oh, so and so we think she did it. They got videotape of her beating this girl. The person with the camera. I mean, like, look what happened to George Floyd and the cops that were standing around and watching. Like, you're witness. I mean, and then, well, let me back up, because it's kind of hard to, when you're surrounded by ignorant people, to try and step in and help. So that's the other thing too. I know what happened to our father. He saw these two women fighting, and he's like, "You guys are queens, and you shouldn't do this to each other." He tried to break it up. Somebody filmed my father getting pushed down. He has a broken hip, which we deal with on a regular basis, trying to stop two women from fighting, because my father thought, you guys deserve better than this. You know, you guys are supposed to represent this planet. You know, you're mothers of this earth, and you two are out here fighting in the gas station. That is absolute madness. But it's going to continue until we do what I say, until we get our money right. Like I was talking to my ex-wife today, and we went, I don't know, some session, boom shakalaka throw up from the frog bite. I mean, I still got the bruises on my arm. But first time I've ever had a conversation with her, in recent history, about one of our kids. One of our kids, he's smart. Evan, he's the man. He had a 4.5. He's the man. He's tall. He's attractive like his father. You know, like his shit's together, but he's like going through it like, Dad, I don't know what to do. Mom, I said, he's coming with me. Kids have too many options. We're giving our people too many choices. Kidnap their ass, and here's what you got to do. You have no options. And that's what we need to do with our kids, because they're growing up in social media is their pops or is their mom.
Like, let me answer this question too. Herbalista, how you doing? You say, how will this prevent her from working in healthcare if she's not charged with murder? You know, one thing about the internet, it's forever. And even if she ain't charged with murder, I mean, come on. You can see her doing that. Like, who would hire you? You want to work in the hospital? And you sending people to the hospital, or worse, the morgue. So yeah, that's going to follow up for the rest of their life. But I seriously doubt that they get away with that. Like, you can't brutalize somebody and then say, did I do that? Because it was alcohol. Like, you just can't get away with that. So to somebody else's question, I forget who it is asked. Yeah, the U.S. could charge her. They definitely can. They're U.S. citizens. I know it didn't happen in the U.S., but so they'll have to answer for it somewhere, whether they get, extradited back to Mexico or United States decides to deal with it. But they'll deal with it. It's just a matter of time. I mean, you can't kill somebody allegedly. Let's put that out there. Allegedly, and then get away with it, Yeah.
They got more evidence on her than they had on OJ. That's for sure. It's like, damn. First of all, if you hit somebody and they die, it's on you. It's like, if you take my car and it was no scratches on it and you bring it back, it's got a scratch, it's on you. Even though I can't prove you did it, chances are it was you. First of all, even if she didn't kill her, she should be, I don't know. I don't want to add violence to violence, but like, what has happened to us? We will videotape somebody being harmed.
We're desensitized as a society. Back in the day, watching the video that I saw and many of you saw, it would just be like, y'all remember it was a thing, and I must be speaking my age now. There was this.
Ain't no wrong with 51. Just roll with it.
Yes, I'm 51. But there was this thing called Faces of Death. Y'all remember that?
Oof.
Faces of Death. I never watched it, but I heard about it, where these gruesome things will be on there. You see people die in the most horrible ways. Well, we're seeing Faces of Death type of stuff online every day. So we are so desensitized as a community or a society, because even watching this video that I saw, I was very taken aback, and I was pissed, and I was hurt. But I think about, well, what if I would have saw this 10, 15 years ago? I probably would be really just shook. And I was, don't get me wrong. But I think, people they're not bothered by filming somebody have that happen to them, and then I just send it out there to the social media verse, and just people watch it all over the place, right? So it's horrible. And Jay, how you doing? You say street justice. Well, I don't know about that. I want to advocate violence, but this is what community policing looks like at its best form, right? Because we in our community, and there's others too, are calling for justice for her, right? And I don't necessarily agree with it, but people are doxing these people, putting out where they work, where they live, their phone numbers, everything, right? Like, these people need to be brought to justice. Now, imagine, to what Walter said earlier, that if we did that on a regular basis, to, let's say your Ray and Pookie's out there, the shooters and doing all that other stuff, we dox them and say, okay, they live over here. Imagine how much the crime would go down in our community if we start holding our people accountable. So,
that's what we used to do. I remember when I was growing up as a kid, you did something wrong, your parents would beat you, the neighbors would beat you. It was like a party, a whoop-ass party. The problem is now you can't say shit to these kids. Man, we need to man up and grab our kids. Like, we got to kidnap our kids. It sucks to say. We got to kidnap them and give them something to do. Because I can tell you what happens. She sounded like she was a nice girl. They're out there partying. They're having too much to drink. And then soft squatch start to acting the fool and hitting on her. And all of a sudden, this chick is dead. She probably shouldn't even been there. Number one. So it all goes back to what are we giving our kids to do? I'm not an angel. Matter of fact, I'm probably closer to the other side. Matter of fact, I went to heaven and probably blow up. But I've done some things in my life. I ain't got caught. Hallelujah. But when I was young, you do a beer run, ding dong ditch. You do stupid shit when you're a kid. But stuff that, you can go to jail for. I'm doing 145 miles an hour on the freeway the other day. I'm thinking if I get busted, I'm going to jail. So no, we do stuff. But like, I remember growing up getting in trouble, and my mom was like, when your father get home, we got a problem. You can't do that no more. And we need to give them something to do. I think every kid should be forced to work when they're young. When they're going through, hey, I was third grade. Cool. Hey, let's go. Get in the car. We're going to work. I think we should do like, you go to one of these Indian liquor stores, which is filled by Black people, or one of these Chinese massage parlors. Well, maybe y'all don't go there, but you understand what I'm saying. We buy the hair, and they have their kids working behind the counter. And the kids look, some of them look sad, but I bet you when they grow up, and their parents like, okay, you're 16, you get to take over this store and the other store. And by the way, there's 2 houses we need you to manage. And when we die, you get to have them. Or we're 60, we're tired. Like one of my friends, her family just has millions of dollars in real estate. They just gave her the real estate, millions of dollars to manage. She's staying in the house, like, just doing her thing. She is too busy to get caught up in madness. You know what I'm saying? Each one of these kids would have businesses to run. I guarantee, even the businesses, even if you're selling, selling, I don't even know what this is. I've drunk. Sell something, put something in a can and go sell it. Do something to keep you busy. We can't say stuff to our kids. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could just roll up and just light them all on the sidewalk and just run them all down. It's becoming either them or us. Think about this for a second. I was in Vegas a few weeks ago. Brother walked by with his woman. She's really pretty. She had a big old booty. Like everybody looks, so I'm not hating on that, but this is like these 5 or 6 kids was like, damn, your girl got a fat ass. And they're like walking behind him, like saying that to her. And so I was with this brother, and I looked at him, and we kind of had that, let's go fuck these dudes up. But when we were in Vegas, we had chips on the table. We didn't want to leave. And the dude seemed like he was, he was cool with it. But I can tell you, there's a lot of people that would have been different. And it should have been. You know what I'm saying? I wish we were in a world where we could have just whooped their ass. And they were like 19, 20, pants sagging on the ground, smoking weed in the casino, just acting the fool. And they were with these chicks. And they were just twerking, and they were just acting the fool. And I looked at home, it was like, man, that's our race. We got to fix that.
Yeah, I agree with you too. And just thinking about and Shanquella, somebody said her name was actually Shanquella with an N. So I guess the media has it wrong. So forgive me. Lamel, how you doing? And Curtis, I think I said hello to you, Curtis. She's on here. Just thinking about it. It doesn't. I don't know. I'm sure more is going to come out, because one thing is for sure. Now everybody is going to be like, oh, well, I didn't have nothing to do with it. It was actually her, or well, she's the one. And, because they were all together telling a lie at first until, this video came out. And it's like, well, and to me, like the girl who was beating her up, Dejanay, is like, you didn't see this man filming you. You didn't think that this would get out. And especially since y'all, apparently, I don't know, allegedly killed her. You didn't think that was going to get out. And so I saw somebody else say how sad that she went on this vacation, probably thinking she was going to have a good time. I don't know how well she knew these people, or if there was some animosity, or if the girl was waiting at, a chance to do something to her. But I saw a lot of you also say that you keep a very small circle. And I do too. I don't hang out with everybody, because I can't control everybody or what they may be thinking. You don't know if you feel a certain type of way about you. And all that other stuff. So it would just be best for everybody to make sure you know your circle. And listen, this is no indictment on Shanquella at all. I'm not saying anything about her, because I do believe people should, you know, in fairness, think, oh, I'm going on a vacation, I'm gonna have a good time and come back alive, right? I don't think that's too much to ask. And I would just like to think that if she knew that was going to happen to her, she probably wouldn't have went. She probably thought she was in good company. And, you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of jealousy that goes on with people. And, you know, some would even say even more so with our people. So I don't know. Her family was saying that she was very successful. And forgive me, I don't know exactly what it is that she did. So forgive me for that. But they're saying that she was successful. That could have had something to do with it. I mean, it's just really hard to tell at this point. But I don't know. It's just the whole thing is it's sickening. It's very sickening.
It's gonna get worse. It's just the beginning. Let me tell you, it's gonna get. And I'm not a big follower of religion. I don't spend a lot of time in the Bible, the Torah, and none of that. So actually, ironically, I've spent more time in the Torah this week, the Torah, based on everything going on with Kyrie and Kanye, than I probably spent in the Bible. But I'm not, you know, super religious. But like most religions talk about a day like this, absolute chaos, you know. And I'm not a big fan of, you know, okay, justice is one thing. So we find out who did it and why she did it and they go to jail. But what does that really do for us? You know, she's dead. That's the issue here. You know, we spend so much time justice. Like once the crime is committed, we spend more energy on, they will spend more energy on finding out who killed this woman versus what if we, like, imagine this. I know it sounds crazy, right? I'm a wishful thinking, boom, shakalaka, come with me. But like, what if we spent half that energy on the fucking kid? Hey, you're 6. I'm gonna help you. Here's some ideas. Oh, you're 13. Oh, I see you in the house, bored in the house bored. Okay, here, why don't you do this? If we spent that time and energy and money dealing with the stuff up front, then we wouldn't have to go back and fix doing what we're doing right now. I don't understand. But when we talk about it, it just, you know, people, I think we only want to deal with shit if it's madness. We don't like calm shit. We don't like it cool. We don't like things being on. We like, it's got to be rough and tough. You know what I'm saying? Like we want that rap from the street lifestyles. But even those rappers, they live in Woodland Hills. So at what point can we say we're going to go early? You guys, you could be early. You know, cocaine is a serious drug. You ain't lying. So cocaine, I was going to say retinol. That's an involuntary drug. But all the other stuff that they're taking, these kids, oh, you're doing some mushrooms. I'm like, dude, like, I'm okay. Why don't we just stop with weed? I don't smoke weed either, but like I have in the past. I ain't gonna sit here and lie like Snoop, oh, I don't smoke no more, but I have. That is mind-blowing to me. To be high on marijuana, that is like a feeling I never want to feel again. These kids are just wilding out, and the parents can't say shit to them. And you know what it is? Y'all, I'm telling you, I gotta be careful when I'm talking to people. But like those of you guys that want liberalism and you want the government to do everything, this is what's gonna happen. Because I guarantee you, if you allow parents to raise their kids, I think you had somebody close to you threaten to call CPS or 911 one time.
Me?
I don't know if it was you. You tell me the story. Somebody's trying to tell their kid what to do. And it's like, I'll call 911.
Oh, yeah.
I've been like, which phone?
Yeah, the same here. And be
Tell
like,
them-
you know what? When you call them, you're gonna call them again, because when you come back up in here, it's gonna be on and cracking.
Let me give you something to call about.
Right. They'll be like, hold on, don't leave. When you drop her back off, wait right there, because you're gonna be taking her and me back.
So give your kids something to do. Your young kids, my the son that I was talking about, Evan, is 19 years old. He's a super kid, good looking, well-rounded. I mean, he's got everything. Goes to an Ivy League school. The dude is set. But you know, now he's kind of going back and forth on what to do. So it's my job as his pops to be like, yo, I got you. So I told his mom, she was like, you know, maybe he can come live with you. I was like, yeah, I got a room for him. I'll kidnap his ass because I would rather him be pissed at me and us go round and round and me spend the rest of my life worrying about him. I have friends who kids get in trouble, they start doing drugs. And I watched one of my friends and eat her alive. It just, you can see her like Obama, how he looked before he became president, and then how he looked after he became president. That's how she looked. Almost like the Crypt Keeper. You know, that is what happened. That's what stress does to you. So wouldn't it be better to get in front of it? You know what? Your daughter's leaving the house looking, no, you're not leaving the house like that. I'd say, well, you can leave the house like that, but you ain't coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And
what
the
happened
other
to
thing,
authority?
yeah, and I think the other thing too is, you know, we ask this question a lot, you know, on social media and amongst our own circles and stuff like that. Who are we raising? Who are we raising? Because I don't care what anybody says. To some degree, now I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to tell now. I would hope that somebody didn't actively raise Dejanay, the girl in the video that was doing the beating. I would hope somebody didn't actually actively raise her to be that way. But how does she get it in her mind that it was okay? I'm telling y'all, what I saw in that video was just, it was like unreal. Like, because you just watching it and it wasn't that long from what we saw, but you're like, at some point in time, is she going to say, hey, okay, maybe I'm going overboard. Okay, whatever it is I'm doing, why I'm doing it to her. I'm not saying the reasons are valid. Okay, she's learned a lesson. She's had enough. She's not fighting me back. I mean, she wasn't resisting at all. Shanquella wasn't resisting at all. And so you do wonder, like, how did you get that way? What happened to you in your life to where you don't even have the reasoning to say, I might kill this girl. And I might go, like, if you don't care about her, where's the reasoning skills to say, I might go to jail? Everything I'm working for, to be a healthcare provider or whatever it is she's trying to do, you know, I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm going to ruin my career. Like nothing, when I say nothing, like nothing, no reasoning came into the equation. Anybody in that room, nobody can say, hey, stop. Don't do that to her. You're going overboard. You know, this is nobody. And it's not the first time we've seen that. We see it a lot. If I saw somebody say something about World Star, we see it a lot where it's World Star. It could be anywhere. People are just getting beat up and whatever, and people are standing around watching, trying to get that viral moment. And so I don't know. I would just like to think and believe that I've raised a child or anybody that I've, you know, had any contact with, that they would have enough sense to, for one, not do it. And for two, if they felt like they needed to do something like that, they would say, all right, that's enough. Like I could break her back, her neck, kill her. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna get to y'all comments really quick and then I'll give it back to you.
What she did. It's done.
Yeah, but it's like you don't, there was no off button in your emotions to say, okay, stop. I don't know. And Danielle, how you doing? Says Demetra, inbox me when you're finished here. Okay. And as Super Patriot says, yes. And Reality Check says, need good fathers back in the home. Yes, I totally agree with you. And Stacy says, I'm going to just say, if they were all demon possessed, I mean, looking at that video, you would tend to think, yeah, something was off there. You know what I mean? And Virgo, you say she was putting on a show to humiliate the victim. That's kind of what I saw too. Because she didn't have any clothes on, and she just, it was the most. It was horrible. And Kiki says, but I can't believe the people who stood there and allowed it though. Humanity isn't humane anymore. It's sad. Yeah, so I'm saying, who's raising these people? And our Reality Check says, moms nourish and fed, fathers provide a structure and discipline. We definitely need to get back to that. And Kimberly, how you doing? He says, it's demons walking around dressed up as humans, a planet full of soulless beings. You are absolutely right, which it makes it kind of scary to kind of be out there in the world, right? Like if something happened to you, would anybody help? Or would they just stand around watching film? And Super Patriot said it's real. And your average logical thinker says real. So you're replying to Reality Checks. And Danielle, you say, just this generation has very empty ways, no empathy or boundaries. Yep, I totally agree. And Stacey says exactly 100%, absolutely no one felt any empathy for her at all. None of them were her friends. They were all enemies to her. I totally agree. And Kenneth says, yeah, it's The social media gossip, they love to see people get beat down. It's a shame, actually sad. Absolutely. And Kiki says, I hate that website, World Star. I can't stand it. I hate it too. And I think the owner, if I'm not mistaken, he died a couple years back. And Francis, how you doing? He says, too many millennials full of hatred among so many other negative traits with social media. It's a channel to glorify their ignorant behavior. You said a word there. And Kiki says, has anyone heard about a motive yet? No. This kind of really certain. It happened on the 28th of October, and it's just now kind of making the media rounds as to what happened to her. So originally they were going with the story that she died of alcohol poisoning, and then some news station, I think it's the same one that I showed, they got the videotape of her being beaten up, and so that's kind of where the story took a turn. Like, nah, she ain't dying of alcohol poisoning. That girl beat her. I want to say that I don't know if I've seen anything quite like it. I've seen people get beat up, but that was pretty bad. And Virgo says, remember how Markella Smith's best friend left her on the side of a highway drunk, got hit by 8 cars. Oof, I didn't hear about that one, but that is horrible. And G-Rock, thank you so much for the donation. You says, wasn't it 3 people killed? You know, I don't know. I didn't hear about anybody else that was killed. So I don't know, but I thank you for the donation. And
yeah, we like donations and money. You know, I know this is the wealth show, and I want you guys to know my sister puts a lot of time and energy into this show. I just show up literally. She said, "Be here at 3." I show up at 2:99, and okay, that's not even a real time, and I just come on here and bring the knowledge that I have. Most of the stories I haven't read, but she actually does all the work, reads the stories, and then, you know, I come and help her out. So these things do take money to put together. I appreciate you guys pitching in. Anything helps. You know, I love change. Yes, we can. I love the full shit. Yeah, that was probably another city. It happens in Mexico all the time. People go down to Mexico and they act a fool. They get drunk. You know, they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Mexico is the same way. And people go down with the intention. Like, I've never gone to a party and be like, I'm getting effed up. I hear people saying that. We're getting, like, who goes to a party to get intentionally drunk? Like, to feel that way, throw up.
a lot of people do it. You know, and I'm one of those people. Y'all gonna say you lying? I've never done drugs, never smoked weed. I drink every once in a while. Don't really enjoy it much. But I want to answer this question, Trayvon. How you doing? It says drugs, cannabis isn't the problem. It's the intentionality. I'm sorry, and negative promotion of it. We need to use these natural resources to our benefit, just as we did in our past. And you know what I want to say to you? I agree with you. Like I said, I've never done drugs, never smoked weed or anything like that. But I would imagine, just from hearing from other people, that back in the day, it's probably a little bit more natural. But you got these people now mixing stuff up in their garages and stuff. It's like most people who do drugs probably wouldn't just eat out of anybody's kitchen. Well, taking drugs or weed or whatever from just anybody, it's the same thing. You're ingesting that into your body. And so, I mean, we hear about a lot of times too, people dying of fentanyl overdoses because they thought they was taking one thing, and then whoever's manufacturing the drugs, they putting fentanyl in there and stuff. So I agree with you as far as, I don't know about the drugs part, but the cannabis, the weed, yeah, that was a little bit more on the natural side.
Yeah, cannabis is, I don't know, it's everywhere. And it's the sad part is it's desensitizing our people, because you see people and they're not in it. They're smoking weed in the car. You smell it everywhere you go. You smell weed. I don't understand. One, if I wanted to buy weed right now, I wouldn't even know where to get it. Number one. And I'm like, damn, like, for you to light a joint up at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., unless that's what you do, you Damon Dash, you rolling you all straight and say, I'm going to blow my whole day. I'm just going to be high. You don't have a pen and a pad. You don't have a business plan. I can see smoking weed and come up with some ideas. Cool. But you just getting high? No. We need to, and it's going to have to come from us. You know, the baby boomers. I think I'm Generation X, millennials. You know, Gen Z is acting a fool. they're crazy. You can't say shit to them. And then this is what happens too when you get away from nature. I'm not talking about man and a woman, or that. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about like just natural things. Like it was natural. If you were born a man, to stay that way. Now I ain't gonna sit here and open a can of whoop ass. I know we can't really.
That's a whole nother conversation. But let me say this. I've seen a couple of y'all say that this woman here that's on the screen is actually born a man. Is that true? Because this is the one that was in the video beating her up. So are y'all saying that biologically this person on here is a man? I don't know. Like I said, there's so much coming out about this, but is that what we're saying here? I've seen some other people say that she's a woman. So I'm confused.
Well, first of all, and I want to tread lightly, and me turning to my Dave Chappelle self. I mean, her being transgender or not doesn't have anything to do with her beating her up. But I will say this. If she was a man and she changed to a woman, she walking around with a man's guns, toes, fingers, and toenails, and all the strength that comes from being a man, then we may want to consider prosecuting these people as men. Or you understand what I'm saying? I don't know. It's madness to me. You get away from nature, and it's not just that. It's all kinds of stuff. I remember going to high school, and there was like, you had the girl that had on the tight jeans and the tight shirt, and we look forward to her coming to school. That was like, we don't need to go to lunch. We look forward to that. But now,
y'all in trouble. But I would say this. I mean, I don't know what déjeuner is. Like I said, I'm totally confused. So forgive me on that. I guess we'll learn more about who she is.
But does it matter if she's a man or woman? I mean,
well, I don't know if it matters. I don't think you should be doing anything like that to somebody. But if you was born a man and you doing that to somebody, yeah, you extra strong. You know what I mean?
She is extra strong, but the problem is we didn't catch the shit when it first started. When that first dude was like, I want to convert and play women's soccer. We should have caught it right then, but we didn't let it go because you can't say shit to people. We've given away, the natural laws. Tell me about Jesus, Allah, or, Bedrack, or whatever their name is in the Bible. People believe in those. Something we haven't seen yet. But one thing we can see is that our kids are acting a fool, right? This dude was born a dude and is becoming a woman, is now manhandling literally people.
Well, they're saying it's a woman, so I don't know. I'm confused. I'd imagine we're going to find out. Hello. We'll find out exactly what she is. But for now, let's say she's a woman because that's kind of all we know at this point, unless somebody knows other than we do. But again, y'all, this is the financial show. So if y'all have any financial questions,
can we veer toward the money a little bit?
We can do both, but let me get to the rest of these. So if y'all have any questions, financial questions about anything at all, Walter is that guy, and he is going to do his best, and we can continue to talk about this as well, or anything else that y'all deem that y'all see out there that y'all want to talk about. I know Trump that has thrown his hat back in the ring, so we can talk about that or not. I don't know.
We finally got something to talk about. Man, these Democrats is boring.
Hold on. Let me get to the rest of these. Watch out now.
Man.
And reality check.
He's fun to watch.
Reality check says healthcare professionals saving lives at work and murdering folks on vacation. Can you imagine that? Manolo, you said she died from the beating in the video. That's what the newfound, I would say, speculation is. I mean, it was pretty bad beating. I don't know if you've seen it. It's pretty bad. Kiki says, so y'all didn't hear about the factory worker who died from inhaling weed and it affected her asthma. It's not as safe as people think. Yeah, this stuff nowadays, I wouldn't trust it. And Sooty Man, he says, exactly, changing parts don't change who you are really at the end of the day. I'm going to leave that one alone. And reality check says, autopsy says she died of a broken neck and a fractured spine. Yeah, you watch the video, you say, yeah, that makes sense. And Queen Rome, he says, you can't trust nobody, suspect all, unfortunately, right? Manolo says, we are in the last days, Satan is putting in overtime. Indeed. And a reality check says that's the problem with, where'd it go? Where'd it go? That's the problem with pretending, oh Lord, trans are women. Queen says we are living in the last days. And Al, you crazy? He says, with a name like Dejanay spells trouble. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, she shouldn't be doing that to people, regardless of what her name is. And Brother Reggie said, Walter, what's the link to your podcast? When he comes back, we'll ask him. Brother Jonell, he says, we're under psychological and chemical warfare. Majority don't need drugs, especially not being in their natural right state of minds. Drugs and liquor has not healed nor helped our community at all, period. Yeah, I mean, it's not something we really need to do, right? It's not helped us. I totally agree with you. And Brother Reggie says, is it at the money, as the money talks? I believe that's what it is, as the money talks. I know that he's in the process of setting it up, so I don't know if it's completely done yet, but we are anxiously waiting for that. And your average logical thinker, he says, thanks for covering this. Yep. My sister actually called me early this morning, and y'all know, being a content creator, I have people reach out to me a lot. My sister just has a direct line to me. She called me early. She said, did you see this story? Oh my God. And I said, not really familiar with it, because again, like, you know, there's a lot of things out there. So I looked at it early this morning. I said, this is horrible. So I felt like I needed to cover it. So, you know, I think that's what her people will want to have awareness brought to their loved one situation. I mean, I know I would, God forbid, I was in that situation. And Super Patriot says Trump is going to be the next president, like it or not. I don't know. And Kiki says, at Walter, I asked Donovan, let me get your perspective. The housing market, do you see what happened in 2008 happening again?
Hell yes, it's about time. Hallelujah, Jesus. I cannot wait for the housing market to crash. I only buy shit when it's on sale. It's not going to be as bad because they weren't giving out loans to people like that. You know, they weren't giving out loan to Pookie and him. He was the first ship to Taco Bell with $500,000 on his application. They're not doing those loans anymore. But what's happening now is you're getting sentiment, you know, because people, they have remorse. You know, you bought this house for $800,000 3 months ago, and now it's worth $650,000. And you're like, you know what? And now they're like, I'm going to get out before it becomes $550,000. So they start selling, and what happens? They start selling, and then they start dropping the prices. You see what I'm saying? So like, for instance, I want to sell a house. The price goes down. I have to make one or two decisions. Okay, do I just wait and keep watching it go? Can I keep the house? Like, is it being rented out? Am I making money from it? Some of these people bought homes, they can't afford to keep them, so they got to get rid of them. What that does is drop the prices. And one of my real estate buddies, I went to a party, and one of the brokers was like, our REO, our foreclosure department, is already hot. We have a bunch of foreclosures already coming across our desk. Right now, we're talking California. He goes, it's going to be very busy in the foreclosure market. So I think what I would do right now is I would just start saving your money, building your credit more than anything, putting the word out to people that you want to start buying houses, and then start, like, if you're going to buy something now, just lowball them. You see a house for $300, so you know what, I'll give you $225. Because before, those people just tell you to kick rocks. But see, now they're not getting any other offers. So if I'm selling a house for $300 and somebody offers me $225, I'm be like, okay, let's come to an agreement. Like, if you're serious about buying my house, let's work something out. Maybe you give me $375, but I give you $20,000 at closing so you can pay for your closing costs. This is the best time to buy real estate because sellers are more flexible. This is the best time to buy real estate. You guys, you don't want to buy real estate a year ago. I talked to a lady, I went to this thing and got like frog bite, throwing up. I don't know, it's supposed to heal me, whatever, right? That's my thing with drugs. And she goes, what did you do? I said, I was a financial planner. I'm retired. Don't ask me shit. I ain't answering no money questions. And she just looked sad. I go, what's wrong? She goes, me and my husband just bought a house. I said, oh, I'm sorry. She goes, we are too. And the sad part is her parents gave her the down payment and the house is already down in value. So the money they put down for the down payment, gone. It's gone. And we're just getting started. The Federal Reserve is clear. They are going to keep raising interest rates until we feel the pain. And they're not talking about us, because I feel the pain. I'm T-Pain right now. Y'all want some reverb? How's that go? Yeah, I don't even know a T-Pain record, but I know he got records. We're feeling the pain. What he wants wealthy people to feel the pain. Because right now, if you got a couple million saved and you got a nice house, okay, gas is $6. It used to be $3. Okay, I'm still driving the Maserati. He's waiting for those assets, them to start feeling it. Because if you watch CNBC, it's like, oh, well, maybe it's going to recover. No, it ain't. Like Twitter just laid off the whole staff, face everybody. It's this, and now because Twitter and Netflix, those guys went first, Ma and Pa will be like, you know what? It's my turn too. I got 6 too many of y'all, 5 of y'all late most of the time, and you got an attitude. Peace out. So I think it's going to get worse, and I hope it gets worse. I hope the real estate market falls to the sky, except in Willis, Texas. Everywhere else fall, right? And that would be the best case scenario, because what happens when the world is crumbling financially? Banks, I'll get to your question. Banks are more friendly because they got to get rid of the inventory. Here's how it works. If I'm a bank and I repossess your house or foreclose it and you owe $500,000, I am a bank. I will take $400,000 for that house because I would rather have $400,000 in my pocket versus a $500,000 over 30 years at 2%. Now I can take that, sell that house and put it back in the market at 4 to 10%. So a bank is better off taking a loss and reinvesting that money. Plus they can write it off of their balance sheets, and it wasn't their money in the first place. Like right now you see them building all these homes, right? KB, GH Horton, they're building all these homes. So what they do is they borrow money from your 401k, your IRA, it's your money, grandmama, her money too, all these pension plans. They borrow this money and they buy all these properties. The properties collapse. They don't take a loss. You take a loss. They borrow the money from you. They pay this price. They get it built. The market comes down. They file bankruptcies. Another company, one of their buddies, comes and buys it at a low price. They get in. It goes up and boom, we just keep doing what we're doing. So what you need to do is do that. I'm not saying we need to let the stuff that we have go, but we need to start stacking our money. So to answer your question, it's not going to be 2008. It's going to be rough. You know who's going to get hurt the worst? Minorities. Almost said they. We're about to get killed. It's over. Because now you look at this video, right? And if you look at the state of our children, not all of them, but some of them, and it only takes 2 out of 10 to fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? So look at what's going on, and then you take financial pressure. Can you imagine how people will be acting when the world financially is a mess? So, and FTX, that's the what's his name? Oh my God, the guy that raised all this money and had an $8 billion hole. So this guy runs a crypto, FTX runs a crypto exchange. People put in money, and then, it's supposed to be growing. Turns out the 8 billion is missing. And he took $4 billion and put it in another company that's failing. And then the bank, I think was it Binance or someone, was going to come in and give him money. And they were like, oh no, no, we're not doing that. So those of you who got Bitcoin out there, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say, don't buy it. Actually, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's not advice. It's just me. I sold my Bitcoin when it was at 70,000. Right now, I think I woke up the other day, it was 15,000. Sam Bankman-Fried. Thanks, my brother. Because I show his name was floating around. All I saw was his afro. First of all, if you give $8 billion to a guy that looked like he just got out the club, what do you expect? See, people get away from the suits. Like I like to wear a suit, do my hair, brush my teeth, put on some nice shoes. We get into this thing, we say, we don't need to get dressed up. We can just show up how we want to. And like when you get dressed and you do a certain thing, you cut your hair, it does something to you mentally, say, I need to be more responsible. So I'm going to say about that. Because Lord forbid I say, get dressed, cut your hair. Do you remember the brothers, the men in the suit? Like, can you imagine, ladies, let me talk to you for a second. Imagine walking outside.
Well, I'm going to say no, because I don't really see too many men. I don't even see too many men dressed up with like just a button-up shirt or, nice. It could be a nice pair of jeans. Like I said, I'm from the West Coast, so, some creases in them. Some dress shoes or something.
No creases. Unless
I like a crease in the pants of a man.
I don't know how you really do that, but no, I'm just saying, like, you don't have to wear a suit to work, but just put on like a nice, like the dinner jacket. Like, imagine, and you single, so I can say this to you. I know Al kind of floating around. I see him in the chat room, but that's cool. But imagine, Brother Al, or imagine walking out and seeing 5 or 6 young black men suited up, just walking into a restaurant, and you and your 5 single friends just sitting there, and these 5 suited up brothers walk in and say, "Ladies, how you doing? Do you mind if we bought you drinks? And if you really don't mind, we'd like to sit with you and have dinner." Can you imagine what the world would be like? Jesus Christ! And you don't have to make $100 million to do that. You know, I see you guys out. You got Papados in Texas. I don't know how you afford to eat there. My bill is like $100. I'm like, I can't afford.
But let's keep it real. Yeah, the Papados is expensive. It's salty, if you ask me. I mean, if you don't care about your blood pressure, eat there. But Walter ain't the type of person that's gonna go out and be reasonable. He gonna have what you saw when a lot of people go out to the restaurant. When they look at the menu, they do what first? What do people do when they look from the right to the left? Because on the right is the price. Like, okay, what's on the right side first? Walter's the type of person that looks from the left to the right. So it's like by the time you get the bill, he's like, oh, I ordered all that? Yeah, you did.
No, I just believe, listen, if you want something on the menu, get it. I don't want to walk into a restaurant and trip on what's on the menu, right? If I want a filet, and I don't really eat meat that much anymore, but if I want a filet, I'm just like, okay, I deserve this, but I'm going to work my ass off before and after to make sure that I can do that. But I'm not going to go into a restaurant and spend $200 if I don't have $200 that I put somewhere else. See, and I think that is the problem. And I know I'm a bore some people. Oh, yeah, you didn't see my crip walk? That's all right. I'll try it again. Oh, did your crip walk? Don't get it twisted. But so let me go back. I digress. The FTX thing. So the whole Bitcoin thing, Bitcoin is crumbling. And then you got, what's her name? The real crazy lady. The one that's always messing with the banks, Elizabeth Warren. You got her going after the banks and crypto. When Elizabeth Warren puts cryptocurrency between her lips, it's a wrap. It's done. Because the Democrats and some Republicans too, they all crooks. But especially the liberals on the left, their job is to destroy capitalism because they want control. Imagine this. What if all of us said F the school system, F college, F school? Okay, you made it out of 12th grade. Can you read? You can do arithmetic? Cool, you got it. What I'm not going to do, unless you have a path, a plan of, I was going to say of destruction. I'm really thinking about kidnapping these people in Mexico. If you had a plan of action, so like say for instance, like my daughter right now, she just applied to Yale, and knowing her, she'll probably go. So I'm thinking, damn, digging in my pocket already. But what I was telling her, I was trying to talk her out of it. I'm so cold. I was like, Morgan, you know what would be better is if I gave you $100,000 over the next 4 years and you started a bunch of businesses. I guarantee you in 4 years with my help, because I'm your father, I got you. Whatever you need, I got you. You can ask me for anything except to go on a date. I got your back. I will support you in all those businesses. And I guarantee you in 4 years with that $100,000, you'll be on your way. You could hire your friends from college. Matter of fact, you can probably hire some of the teachers. But we won't say this to people. So, because we want them, like, if you go to Cuba, we should take a Cuba trip. Like, seriously. We go to Cuba and you will come back to this country and you will be kissing the dirt that I just walked on to slide over to the conservative side, and you will see what socialism, Elizabeth Warren and ALC, or Uncle Bernie Phil the Burn, and your boy Sleepy Joe. How is he even still talking? I think there's two Joes. There's gotta be. Like, this dude is bumbling in front of the world. Anyways, when we go down that path and you start telling people it's not your fault you're not making money, we lose society. It is your fault you're not making money. You are alive. You're not making money. You're either one, not doing something right. And I know we all struggle. Lord knows I've lost a ton of money in businesses. My sister tell me, shit, we lost money. I lost some of her money. We lost money together. But they're making me pay for it. Man, I hate to answer the phone. But Lord knows But the thing is, you just keep getting up and you learn and you learn and you learn and you learn. You know what I'm saying? This morning, I woke up at 2 a.m. and I set my black ass right here and started working, paying my bills, taking notes. I'm like, okay, I'm watching these videos on how to start my podcast. By the way, it's As the Money Talks. My podcast is enough. Matter of fact, I got Natalie over there on the couch working on it. We are putting it together. So we do our first show on next Tuesday night, California time. So it's approximately 6:30, which is 9:30 on the East Coast. And we're basically talking about, the perils, if that's what you want to call it, the downside of being a single mother, like financially, what you need to do to prepare to become a single mother. Because if you're not a single mother and you're in a relationship, there's a 50% chance you're going to be one. So you might as well get ready for it right now. Ain't nothing like the present, right? As the Money Talks. So that's, and our logo is wicked. I wish I could show it to you. It's off the hook. But anyways, we need to be responsible for our stuff. If you are not making money, the money you want, turn off Netflix. I'm watching this show called The Resident, this doctor show, which is making me never want to go to the hospital again. It's got Morris Chestnut in it and Malcolm Jamal Warner. Ladies, you might like that, right? So I haven't watched this show in a long time because I'm like, I got to work on my future. Now, don't get it twisted. I do watch some TV. You got to enjoy yourself, but you got to put in the work. So next time you go, oh my God, I'm going to veg out. Why don't you start that business you've been working on? Because the worst thing you could do is fail. And it's not even failure. It's feedback. You know what I'm saying? You guys, there was this website for women called Don't Date 'Em Girl. I don't know if it's still out. I'm probably own the site. But we have things out. There's information everywhere. What we need to do now is take the information that we should be using and put it front and center. Like, let's talk about money. What up, April? I see you. How's it? I see you. I'm coming your way. So here's some information. Answer me in the chat, folks. One of the largest U.S. companies today just got hit 14% their stock price. Can you name it? D, don't tell them because I already told you. Matter of fact, while I'm waiting on y'all to put that name in, because that's
that again. What'd you say?
There's a major U.S. company today that took a huge hit in the stock market. They missed estimates. They're getting wiped out. It's a big stock. You go there all the time. Actually, obviously, people aren't going all the time, right? I'll give you the name. It's a bullseye. Not Amazon. What the hell was that? Target, their stock price is down 15%. So I wake up this morning. I normally wake up about 4 or 5 a.m., turn on Bloomberg, CNBC, because, the futures markets come 4:35. The futures markets are already up. They're already at, because they're on the East Coast. So they're already talking about what to expect from the market, the economy. You can learn a lot from Bloomberg. I know I saw how we did Michael Bloomberg during the election. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I was going to vote for Mike. I know he was a redlining dude. That's horse shit. That's
stop
shit.
And frisk.
That's all madness. He's a piece of shit for that. But they're all that way. They're all pieces of shit. Every single one of them. Politicians, not all of them. Some of them are okay.
Most of them.
It's not helping us. So anyways, you make $1, put 10 cents away. Tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen with Target. Target they dropped $25 today, or 14% of their stock price. Boom. So I wake up and I see Target is on the screen on Bloomberg, and I see a stock price of 14%, 13, 15. The first thing I did, and I'm going to tell you what I bought. This is not advice. This is not advice, so don't sue me. This shit don't work out. But I'm going to tell you what I'm doing right now. I got the 2-factor thing too. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing right now to make money. Target, so the stock, let's say it's trading at $200, right? Actually, no, D, I sent you the picture. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to give you guys a tip, like something you could do tomorrow morning, assuming Target hasn't flown back up. And even if it has, Target is still, their stock price is still way lower than it is. So you can go, let me go back. Where's Target stock price? They're getting murdered. So right now, Target stock price is $154. This is a $250 stock a few months ago. So you guys can do this, and we could all do it. Today, look at this chart, right? I don't know if you can see it. There it is. Can you see it a little bit? I know it's a little, I apologize. I'm trying to get this camera thing down. Okay, so that stock option, January 2023, the 180 call is $1.66. That stock option a few months ago was $70. That means $70,000 today, Lord have mercy, is $1,600. $1,600. So you could go in with $166 and you could buy 100 shares or 1 contract or 100 stock options. You could have did that today. I sent this to a bunch of people. Me and D talked about it, right? Oh yeah, for sure. I got a sauna upstairs. Oh, I thought you was. I'm like, yeah, man. This brother Reggie. No, you can't come to the sauna. So no, the sauna is a good thing. Everybody should get one. And you can buy the sauna for $150 that you can lay under and it pulls up over you, gives you the same effect on Amazon. We need their stock price to go up. Come on, y'all. So if you can buy the stock option for $1.66, what if Target goes back up? So if Target gets back up to 180, that $1.66 could be worth, I think yesterday it was worth $12. This is a $250 stock. It's just down at 154. So you can spend $1.66. If Target goes up tomorrow $5, this 166 will be worth $3-4. Because stock options, they move on momentum. So that's why you can buy the stock options. Right? Remember we talked about last week, Facebook was what, $89, something like that. You know where it's at right now? On the way to 120. If you would have bought those stock options, like I told you, I think you could have invested 89 cents. Yesterday, it was almost $5. It means $1,000 is $5,000 in one day. Now, it doesn't always go that way. Sometimes these things I do lose on. Like I bought Snapchat and they missed earnings and my dollar went to 12 cents. Oh, I was so sad. So $1,000 was $120 the next morning. So I took another 1,000 and bought it at 12. I ended up making money on Snapchat because when that 12 went back to 50, 60, the stuff I bought at 12 made up for the loss. And then the other stuff I bought at $1 went back up to 40, 50, 60. And I got most of that money back into the 12. I made, you understand what I'm saying? So that's how you invest in the stock market. You can buy the stock options. Right now, I still like Uber. Uber is one of my favorite stocks right now. NIO, N-I-O, it's the Chinese car maker. They're the Tesla killer. That went well. But this was a stock that was $2 during the pandemic. Matter of fact, we all talked about this. It went up. I sold it at 20. And then, of course, the next day it went to 40. I watched NIO go to $60. Do you know where it's at right now? $10. $10 from 60. This is the leading Chinese EV maker. NIO is down right now because China is on COVID hold. So they don't need cars because they can't go nowhere. But so I'm going in, and that's just not advice, you guys, but I'm going in heavy on the NIO stock options. It's only a $10 stock. You can buy stock option for 50 cents. That means for $50, you can control 100 shares of NIO, not have to go to whole 10, put in 50, and you get to roll out. This is the shit we should be talking about, right? This is the stuff. So now you take this poor girl. Let's take another girl because she's dead. She's not coming back. And it's unfortunate because the whole family, when one person dies, it affects hundreds, thousands of people. What we should be doing with the people that are alive is having this conversation. But it ain't sexy. You know what I'm saying? It ain't. And hey, I mean, like, yes, we got to get to the point where we get rid of the madness. Like, seriously. Like, I don't know who Becky is. I don't have a Becky in my life, but it's whatever. Becky, Latasha, I like them all. Trust me. I mean, not at the moment, right? Because you can only like one. See, that's this. and this is the thing to me. I watched an episode on the Jeffersons. Remember that? And George Jefferson gave CPR to the white dude. Remember that, the KKK leader? And the dude wakes up and goes, after he took his first breath and he saw George was black, he's like, oh, you should have let me die. Remember that episode? That was classic Jefferson. I remember that episode more than any other episode. The point I'm making is some people will have a way out. I just told you how to take 1,000 and turn it into 6,000. Some of you need that shit for your closing costs on the house you're trying to buy one time, but you don't want to hear it because you think I'm rolling with Becky or whatever. You see what I'm saying? But you roll your ass up into Adidas, Nike, Capitol Records, MCA Records. Okay, maybe MCA is gone, right? I don't like, think about this. If you have a weave and it wasn't done by a person that looked like you, you have no room to speak. You take the money, right? So here's the thing. If a KKK member walked in my house and said, hey, nigger, I got a tip for you. Put the dollar over here and tomorrow's going to be worth 1,000. I'm going to take his, I might whoop his ass, but I'm going to take his tip. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care who you are. Sometimes you have to separate where the message is coming from and just take the message. When we get to that point, we'll be cool. Until then, we ain't gonna have nothing. Like, geez Louise, you guys, the stuff I'm telling you now is the shit me and Kanye West did. Bait 'em. Seriously. Here's what you do. I'm gonna give you another, this is a money show, right? Can I still talk money? Is that cool? Okay. Here's something else you could do. I'm gonna give you guys a tip. My second podcast on As the Money Talks is Somewhere the Land in the Land Rover, how you can use your car to buy a house, right? So there's several banks, like one, there's Golden Bank or something like that, Credit Union California, Navy Federal will do it. Arrowhead will do it. They're not as aggressive as Navy Federal, but who's Becky? That's funny, right? I don't know either. But I probably dated a Becky in the past. I don't discriminate. I went to an all-white school. It was like me and one sister girl, and she hated me. So I have that Range Rover on my dream board. It's been there. So I'm not the type to spend that kind of money. But you walk into a bank and you say, all you have to do is go to Navy Federal and give them the VIN number to the car you want. You don't even, it could be your neighbor's car, real shit. You can go to your neighbor's car and go, yo, I like your car. Will you sell it to me for a discount? Yes, you can have it. You call Navy Federal, give them the VIN number, give them your credit, tell them what you make, elevated it may be, and they will cut you a check for your neighbor's car. So let's say you're buying a neighbor's car for $10,000, for $20,000. Navy, if you can buy a car on the street in good shape at a discount for 20 grand, Navy Federal will probably give you 40. They will cut you a check for 40 and your neighbor's gone. The neighbor ain't even here. You don't know what the car is, but they will cut you a check based on that VIN number. You give your neighbor 20, you put the other 20 in your pocket, and you take your black ass, it's Hispanic or Puerto Rican, wherever you are, and you go buy a piece of property. There is your closing cost right there. Right, and you go, you buy a house, go to Alabama somewhere, get you a little $100,000 house. You put 3% down on that one. Right now, everyone's playing closing costs. So you got $20,000, right? So you put 3% down on your first house. Actually, no, that's backwards. My mistake. Never buy a house to live in before you buy an investment property. That is death to smoochie. Period. Do not do that. Buy your investment real estate first. So take that 20, go find a house that's $100,000, and you give them $10,000 down. You understand what I'm saying? Or you give them 20% down, you take out a loan to rehab it, fix it up, and then you sell it. You understand what I'm saying? And then you rent that out. So you rent it out and let the income pay the mortgage, and you take whatever money you refinance and pull out, and then you buy another property, and you buy another one. Before you know it, you own 2 or 3 homes. Let me have the question again. Is this the question no one's answering? Because only 2 of us. So what do you think about tiny house market? I love it. I love the tiny house market. It is, first of all, you guys, tiny homes are all over the world. Europe, even New York. Well, New York is more, that's where they settled first. So New York looks like Italy. But when you look at a lot of homes, They live in these tall, they have stores on the bottom, and they have these little apartments. They live in tiny homes all over the world. So I love the tiny home. If you can buy a tiny home for $30,000, my God, like think about this for a second. You can buy some brand new tiny homes for 30 grand, which means you have to spend some time outside, right? Because it's tiny. You can build a deck, and now you got 2 houses. Seriously, that's what I'm doing in the desert. The guy was like, yo, we can't build a house that big because it's going to go over your budget, but we can build you a long patio, and we can enclose a patio, put furniture, barbecue grill. Now you got 2 houses. You just don't have a wall on that side, but that will save you $200,000. I go, make it so. So what I'm saying about the tiny home is you can do that. Get you a piece of land that's $5,000 in Texas or Alabama somewhere. Put you one of those tiny homes on it. You can do, they have companies, you can buy for $1,200 a big water container, and they will come fill it up for you on a regular basis. It's $1,200 to get water source, right? And then solar panels. They have you can walk into Harbor Freight and buy solar panel system for your house right now. So I'm just saying, if you want to get down with the tiny house, get you some solar panels, a water system, and ta-da, you got you a house. That is a very good idea. That's why I always say buy you a piece of land, even if you bought an RV. But some of these RVs are nice. Some of these double wide RVs I would live in. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And Craig, how you doing? You said, can you make packages for us to buy? What kind of packages?
You know what I'm saying? I got if you go to lyt.1 lit.1, you can buy my candles are on the website. You can buy those. I'll package those for you. It's called lit.1 LYT, like my pre-YT, except LYT. You can go to Verbal Herb. You can get this shirt. It's $29. I get an email saying who it is. I write you a note. I might even send you a free shirt. I feel like that sometimes.
Is the shirt patented?
Is it patented? I wish a nigga would try to steal my saying. No, it's not patent. Let me tell you something else, Bob. Thank you for bringing that up. My shirt is not patent. And I don't care if you steal it. Go for it. I'm going to be like Louis Vuitton. All you're going to do is make me more popular. Like, think about this for a second. Think about Louis Vuitton. Like, I was in Paris and Bordeaux last month. They do not care about the knockoffs because those people aren't buying the shit anyways. You're walking around with a $20 Louis bag. You are not a $2,500 candidate. But you know what you're doing? Is you're making other people see it and go, oh, I want that. So people walking around with fake merchandise is kicking the reticular activator for the person that really can afford a Louis. All you're doing is advertising for them. I guarantee you, if Louis Vuitton thought it was an issue, that shit would stop today. It would just be like Kanye and Michael Jackson. All that shit, when they said something about the Jews, they would be off the air in 20 minutes. It's not bugging them. So here's one thing I think: Boxable that's a cool spot. You can buy a Boxable. I think you can even finance it. So man, your house payment be like $400 a month, and you got a house that you can fold up and take with you. Come on now, Boxable I've seen the Boxable house. It's a nice place for $50,000, $400 a month. You could have a house. Are you, man? Listen, I'm selling all my shit except for the house I'm building in the desert. And I'm buying little homes, apartment buildings, whatever. Wouldn't you like to have 4 tiny homes? Shit, my kids, I need 7. I got 6 kids. You know what I'm saying? I tell you what, for the price of the house I'm in, I think they want $750 for this house. The devil is a lie, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's 15 tiny homes. What would you rather roll up to? A block with 1 house on it, or 15 homes that spread out in a circle? Everybody got their car up front. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to do it like the Oriental Wealth, the book you gave me? We need to do it like that.
Hidden Secrets of Oriental Wealth. The Hidden Secrets of Oriental Wealth. You can find it on YouTube. Did you start listening to it again?
Not yet. I'm still trying to get through Negroes to Hebrews or Hebrews to Negroes. Man, that movie, you guys listen, regardless of what you think about it, I haven't watched the whole movie. So I can't comment on on all the stuff that the media, like everyone in the media has watched it too. It's 3.5 hours. I guarantee you most of those people protesting have not even watched the movie. because I was 15 homes, 50,000 each. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't watched the movie. But man, from what I learned in the movie, even just from the beginning part, I was like, my God, are you serious? And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge Christian. I struggle with Christianity. But watching this documentary got me thinking, okay, so maybe, okay, all right, maybe Moses, maybe there was a Moses. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just written. But here's what I'm saying, you guys, and I know maybe people won't identify with this, but I think this is Black people's problem. The fact that I watched this documentary and he laid out how from the Africa, how they found all those bones, those African bones in the Middle East, and all those parts down there, they found these centuries old African bones. And I'm thinking, and my self-esteem started to rise. I'm thinking, you know what? I heard, that Africa, whatever, Kibulan, which means something like the mother or the creation. It has a strong meaning. And I'm watching this documentary and I'm going, wow, it does make sense. Like, my Filipino homies, y'all little negritos, they look like the Aborigines, just a little bit taller. You know what I'm saying? We were everywhere. So I'm watching this documentary and I'm going, you know what? There's a lot of truth to this. I'm sure there was some negative stuff in there too. They use the word anti-Semitic, but like, even if you look up the word Semitic in the dictionary, it says African Asiatic. So I'm confused how someone could be anti-Semitic when in the dictionary it says African Asian. I'm blown away. See, so when I started educating myself, I started feeling better. It made me want to get up. I worked out that day. You can see my dumbbells behind me. I hadn't worked out in weeks. I hit the weights. They saw those Africans all buff and like, I was like, man, we need to get that. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I couldn't have been married around those tribes. I'm like, girl, where you going? The Mandingo tribe just showed up. But the point I'm making is it made me feel good, right? I was like, man, it makes sense to me. I don't know the negative stuff in the movie. I didn't watch it. But imagine if everyone could get an awakening like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just one moment and go, that's us. Do you understand what I'm saying? And by the way, do you realize that Africa is in two pieces right now? I didn't even know this. I learned this from this is rabbi, this white dude. He be breaking them down. Like, he's sitting in front of the whole white congregation. Like, let me tell you about Africans and who they are and the original people. I'm like, man, he don't need security leaving that church. But he goes, you realize Africa was separated. And I wrote it down too. In 1816 or something like that, when they dug the Suez Canal, which is how the ships get through there, they cut Africa into two pieces. So Africa was Arabia, Yemen, Iraq, Israel. All that shit is Africa if you go back to an old map. You understand what I'm saying? Right now, Africa is in two pieces. I didn't realize that. The other thing, the Middle East was deemed the Middle East in World War II. That's when they did it. I like your hair, Taylor. That's how they did it. They broke Africa up, and then during the war, they called it the Middle East for obviously political reasons. So Iraq, all that stuff is all Africa. It was just separated when they dug the canal. Like, even knowing just that, because you say, okay, what are the chances that Black people really were in Israel? It was fucking next door. Like, think about this. You got a swimming pool, and I got a boat. Let's say I got a boat and you live across the lake. You don't think I could go visit you, or I can't have a house over there? Hey, the Middle East was not the Middle East until World War II. Look it up. It was just created. Here's the other thing too, and I wish that Jews and Blacks could get together on this, because it wasn't a meteorite. It was the Suez Canal. They dug it up so they can get the ships through. But what if the Blacks and Jews could get together, right? I'm going to drop the race card and just assume we could all just get along. I know it seems impossible, but what if we could say, you know what? Okay, that's your land, it's our land. How about it's our land? You understand what I'm saying? And yes, the Jewish community, they were moved there in 1948. There were no Jews in Israel before 1948. I mean, not the European Jews. So what happened is and it was it's common sense. It's based on pigment, right? The dark people live near the equator where the sun is. Otherwise, you got it right, my man. Chicago, anyway, don't get me on the map. If you look at the world map today, Chicago should be on the equator. And it should be hot right now. But the equator is where the darker people go. The people with the lighter skin pigment, they go up north where it's colder. So the people that were lighter skinned were up north where it was colder. But through the slave trades and the wars, people got moved around. That's how you end up with people in the Middle East that are lighter pigmentation. It's not a diss, it's just, it is what it is. It makes common sense to me, right? Because if you think about Israel, if I'm Israeli, I'm not going to build a community full with people that are my enemies. It would be my first choice. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we could come together as a planet and say, okay, great. Regardless of where you're from, we're all here. If you cut me, I'm going to bleed like you. You know what I'm saying? I know it's far-fetched. I know I sound stupid even saying it. Why don't we just, as a race of people, get along? You know what I'm saying? Imagine that. Like, if you want to hold on to the hatred, you can do it, but it ain't doing nothing for us. You know what I'm saying? And now the Jewish people, they're just as distracted. Okay, they're not as distracted as black people, but they're getting there. Most of them don't even know what the documentary is about. And I bet you most of the Jews that watched all 3.5 hours were like, whoa, shit. There's a lot of truth to that. And some of the other stuff in it, you know, like I said, I haven't watched it all. But knowledge is power. I was blown away. And actually, you know, and then I listened to, what's his name, Kyrie Irving. He made a good point, and I don't hear I hear people talking about it, but I don't hear powerful people talking about it. He goes, what about my 300 million ancestors that are buried in this country? And it was a pin drop. I don't hear Oprah. I don't hear the lady standing in front of the church talking about he's a demon and Kanye is a demon. I don't hear none of them answering that question. He makes a valid point. I think we all have issues that we should deal with. But here's what the Jews did, and black people, we could learn from them. And I'm going to say it, you can kiss my ass if you don't like it. Regardless of how you feel about Jews or Becky or Paco or the other races, we could learn from each other. Because I promise you, me and Dee lived on Arlington and Van Buren and Riverside. In that neighborhood, just during the crash, remember that the crash that just the whole neighborhood, poof, it was gone. It was all the stores were empty. And the Mexican Cardenas, that whole block right now is Riverside and Espanol. You cannot find a white, black business that's all Mexican. The point I'm making is we can learn from each other. Instead of hating on them, yo, they Mexican, I ain't buying shit from them. How about it's like, yo, you come buy something from us, we'll buy something from you. That would make sense to me.
I'm telling you, it's the audio book that's on YouTube called The Hidden Secrets to Oriental Wealth or something. The Hidden Secrets of Oriental Wealth. The Hidden Secrets of Oriental Wealth. Please listen to that audio book on YouTube. It will change your life. I'm actually surprised that the audio book is even still up there with all the game that's dropped in there and just all of the information. I've read the book. A good friend of mine by the name of O, he gave it to me a few years back. I sent it to a lot of people, but it's on YouTube. The Hidden Secrets of Oriental Wealth. It will change your life and how you think. It's
only 40 pages, y'all. 40 pages. I think it's something like that. I read the book.
44 pages.
It's, man, it just basically breaks it down the way the Orients do it. But you guys, you understand that Oriental people are African descendants. Like in the Philippines, they have a section of the Philippines called Negros Oriental. Like, think about that for 1 second. So if you look at the Chinese president, he has a black nose. 100%. That is an African dude. I promise you. If you go into the Chinese South where they keep those soldiers, those are African soldiers. Do your research. Look it up. Those are African soldiers. Look how tightly the Middle East and China, look where they are in relation to each other. Like, we need to do our research, right? And then we need to, man, we can learn from each other, right? Why don't we turn the tables? Why don't we do what the Jews are doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, Dee, you turned me on to the Breakfast Club interview with Lear Cohen. That was a phenomenal interview, and they asked him all this shit. Yo, what about rap music, and what about what you are doing to us? He's like, what are you talking about?
And he says, I gotta eat. I know it bring. I'm paraphrasing. He says, I know it ain't good for y'all, but financially it's good for me. And he admitted that.
Well, he said that along, that's like a soundbite of the hour and a half or whatever the interview was. He goes, listen, we took black kids off the street and made them rich. I don't know if you know the story of Run DMC. Run DMC's manager decided to get high the night before and disappeared. Damn, that's a big comment. I'm gonna read it though. I do want to read this. Let me finish my point, then we can go over this. Run DMC's manager got drunk or high the morning before, and they couldn't find him. So they asked Leo to become the road manager and take this group to Europe. And then the manager can get his passport or some shit like that. So that's how Leo Cohen got in the rap game. You understand what I'm saying? The other thing he said, which I thought, he goes, I sent my kids to college on Sucker MCs. The hit, remember that? That was Sucker MCs is still one of the top rap tracks in all history by Run DMC. I don't care what you say. Sucker MCs is a move. He goes, I sent my kids to college on Sucker MCs. One hit, one song. And a lot of black people got rich from Run DMC, including Run DMC. They all got rich. Run, all of them. Russell is rich from Run DMC and LL and all those guys. You know what nobody is asking? Why did they sell Def Jam? Why sell it? Right? And then I hear a lot of these acts saying that some of the oh my God, who was it? Sugar Hill Gang was the first rap label, right? The husband and wife owned it. The rappers were saying KRS-One was like, they treated us worse than the Jews. Like they were robbing us, our own people. So before we go out, and I get it, there's tension. I'm not sitting here saying there's not drama between the two races. But you don't get to tell me that you were on the street, a kid, selling drugs, and now you are flying around in private jets as a billionaire, and somehow we are not responsible for our wealth. Every time I see Jay-Z and Beyonce on TV.
Well,
I don't know. I'm the money dude though, so I'm coming at it from a financial perspective.
I get it from the financial perspective, but we also got to think of it from a moral perspective, because while those people are making a lot of money, look at the things that they are paid to pump into our communities. And I ask this all the time, especially of the younger generation. Name me a Hispanic, an Asian, a Jewish person, even really a white girl that's singing and doing the things that our black female rappers or singers are doing. They don't do that to their people. They have our women out there on the stroll on wax, saying the most disgusting things. I mean, nowadays you don't see barely any female rappers with any clothes on. They got the body hanging all out. But I ask that all the time. Where do you see them doing that to their women? Does Lior, whatever his name is, Lior, does he have any Jewish women out there doing any of the stuff that he's paying a lot of these women to do? What about the white male rappers, or Asian or Hispanic? You hear them with the drill rap, talking about killing and doing drugs. They only do that to our community. So I hear the money part of it. Yeah, they're making billionaires, but with the 2 billionaires they're making, how many people are they actually sacrificing in our community to get that $1 billion for that said person? And now there's no shade to Jay-Z or Beyonce.
Who's doing the sacrificing though?
Huh?
You understand what a sacrifice is. A sacrifice is to give yourself up, which is what I would argue some of us have done. Listen, I was in the music industry for years. I was Kanye's financial planner. I saw this shit. Me and Kanye, we would go back and forth. Our last conversation was one of tension over building wealth. So I see it.
So I get the whole thing. Well, when I mean the sacrificing thing, when I mean sacrificing, they're allowing a few people in our community. And listen, everybody's not going to be no rapper. Let's keep it real. But you bring up that of Run DMC and LL and KRS-One and all of them, they weren't talking about anything as close to what we are hearing now. I mean, even LL Milky Cereal, that song, some people say, okay, he was alluding to things, but he was alluding to things, right? With, about cereal, but we knew what he was talking about. But the point that I'm making is the stuff that they have out now is just like, gosh, like when we was coming up, we could never imagine, like when our parents were listening to certain things like your Red Foxes and your Millie Jacksons and all of them, they had to bring those albums out of the record store in a brown paper bag. I remember, I'm a little old enough to remember, you too, Walter, Tipper Gore, Al Gore's wife, she's the reason for the parental guidance sticker due to that Uncle Luke and Two Live Crew and all of them. But now it's like, what happened to that parental advisory sticker? That doesn't even count anymore because you could be listening to the radio, you could be watching TV. Like, I'm on YouTube, right? I'm a content creator. And there's a lot of things that I cannot say, and I definitely cannot do. Otherwise, I will, probably get my channel taken or the video will get demonetized. But like when I watch certain videos and they're cussing and they talking about they under their clothes and it's our people, I'm like, well, how do they get a pass to do that or to say that? And so I say all that to say is, yeah, there's a few of us that are making a lot of money, but look what it's doing to the rest of us. Look what it's doing to the rest of us. Like a lot of times people with little kids, your children are on TikTok. Do you know what they listening to? There's a lot of children. I got a little niece. I ain't gonna say her name. I'm gonna talk to her when I see her. But she know all the Megan Thee Stallion songs. And I'm like, how you know that? Because I ain't gonna say her name on here, but she is. If I tell you, she's your niece, obviously. But the point that I'm making is our niece. But I won't say her name. Okay.
Because my daughters are young.
Your children are old enough, but they shouldn't be listening to it anyway.
Oh shit! I hang up this podcast right now.
But the point that I'm making is she's listening to that on TikTok and all this other stuff. And and I'm like, well, in a Nicki Minaj song with her older self singing the stuff she's saying. So point that I'm making is, yeah, he's made a lot of people rich. Leor, however you say his name, he's made a lot of people rich. But what is he doing to our people? He's admitted, yeah, I know, but I'm making money.
It's not his job to care. Think about this for a second. Our people, we will walk into a restaurant and eat barbecue, fried chicken, potatoes, grains, breads. Like, to eat macaroni by itself is already death to Smoochie. To cover it with milk and cheese, not like the cheese in France, Valibou, whatever, you out there eating the natural stuff. I'm talking about Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, mashed potatoes. They don't just put, if you eat this, you're not going to see 50. You see what I'm saying? Those are the people, like, that's like we're doing it to ourselves. Like, every time you eat a ham hock, collard greens, cornbread, the pig's feet, remember, that's what they used to feed to the slaves. They would take the pig, they would take the good parts, cut his feet off, the head, the ham hock, and they would give that to the slaves, and they would feed that to them. That's what they would do. So every time you eat a ham hock, and people say, oh, don't mess with soul food, why not? It's killing you. I guarantee you, our food is doing, well, the food and the music is the same. But like, we have to stop listening to it. Like I was telling my sister, but we gotta stop.
I totally agree with you. But then we can't. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, people gonna listen to music. But again, I always ask, well, they came, because I just feel like this. I feel like there's some rappers that go into the industry. Let's take a lot of these female rappers, right? They probably not necessarily going in there wanting to, talking about I write it all night and all this other nonsense. They probably really want to go in there and make some music, but then I could just see it. I've never been in the, the record industry, Walter, you have, so you know how it goes. But I can only imagine they're saying, well, you're a cute girl, but let's do this to you. How about we, put this on you, take this off of you, and then we want you to say these things. Because most of those lyrics, those female rappers are saying, you know who write it for them? The men write those lyrics. So that image is manufactured for them. I mean, you look at almost every female rapper out there, and even some of the singers. Like if you close your eyes or you plug your ears, you pretty much think that you're seeing the same person because they look the same and they sound the same. Like I like it's almost like you got to have the P word in there, got to have the D word in there, and then you got to be so disgusting. And so I think about somebody
the song off like that. I beat the pool up, and that's a hot beat. I'm like, why would you destroy that song with those lyrics? I mean, a hot beat is a hot beat.
Music is addicting. You put a certain rhythm and a certain tune, and you put it out there. Like you said, you find yourself singing. You're like, wait a minute, that's nasty, but it's so catchy, right? So imagine being a child and you're on this thing called the internet, and you were listening to that over and over and over again. People on TikTok, they dancing to the song over and over and over again. And then as a parent, you should be very concerned that your child knows the lyrics to Nicki Minaj's Super Freaky Girl. You should be, very concerned about that. So, I mean, while we say that you need to go.
No, I'm good. I was taking your computer back.
So while we say that, they've made a lot of people money, but what is it? What is it doing to the rest of us? And I'll keep it real. Most of the people now, the kids got phones. Y'all don't know what y'all kids are on. Y'all allow them to have a TikTok, in which originally the app is for kids. And it's funny because I saw a study about TikTok because it comes from China. I guess it's a Chinese app. And I'm gonna mute Walter's mic. Oh, there you go. So yeah, it's a Chinese app. And in China, I think it is, they allow on their TikToks, their children a certain age and below, they're seeing stuff about science and, all that kind of stuff. But over here, they set it up to where your children will be watching all kind of crazy stuff. And so it gets inculcated into them. And so I say all that to say, a lot of people just allow their children to be on these apps and you don't know what they're listening to. You don't know what they're watching. But then you have, these artists out there that they like that's saying the most disgusting things. And then you wonder why your child is off the hook.
We need a village. I remember my daughter Morgan, and it was my son that caught it. Hallelujah. Her and her two friends did a TikTok video to rake it up. Man, my son told me
Exactly.
It was on and cracking. She got it from me, the kids. I think she got a phone call from everybody.
But wait a minute, though. But in her defense, and I'm not defending what she was doing, but
no, that's not her style.
Yeah. But in her defense, it's popular. It's on these apps that they're doing. They put the songs on there so they can dance to. Now, no child especially should be listening to Rake It Up.
I tell all my hoes, rake it up.
Yeah.
Rake it up. Man, I have never, my hands felt like grabbing the steering wheel and running the gate over my community. I know it wasn't her. It's her influence, because that's not her. But it's peer pressure. Even the most innocent children, if you hang around with a porcupine, you're going to get poked. All it is to it. But she, thank God she was in a position. Actually, she didn't have a choice because her life was on the line. I'm not going to, go through all this and have you go into that. You can't tell your daughter shit. Back, we're having this Nas, raising conscious daughters moment. But can you imagine if you can tell your daughter, hey, you know what? Don't put that on. That ain't cool. And let me tell you what's going to happen. Because you don't deserve the attention, the negative attention. But if you walk out here with your booty hanging out, you're probably going to get negative attention. Right? And you increase your chances of having something stupid happen to you. Don't make it right. But I'm not going to walk into a Klan meeting with the Joe Biden shirt on. I ain't going to do it. Because I know it's probably going to be some problems. Period.
Mm-hmm. And
Adidas.
I didn't. This is news to me. I didn't know that Adidas had merged with the ADL, Anti-Defamation League. That's news to me. This is the first I have heard of that. So I don't know.
I don't think that's the case. I think The ADL is not a corporate. Well, actually, it probably is. But think about how much power the ADL has. Like, you guys want this brother to go on television, do all these things, apologize? Are you insane? And he already said, I apologize. Like, but
Well,
not even that. And like, man, listen, like Kyrie and Kanye went on the rails, call it what you want. But people make mistakes all the time. Like Howard Stern and all those cats still on TV. You know what I'm saying? Fucking even all of Donald's boys, one of them got a TV show. It's like in jail, out of jail, TV show. You know what I'm saying? But we are quick, and sisters, I'm talking to you especially, to come after these brothers. I've never heard so many women degrade, talk about two powerhouses in their communities that I hear our Black women talking about Kanye and Kyrie, calling him demons and they're possessed. Are you insane? Kyrie, I don't follow basketball. I don't. I listen to Kyrie talk. He's educated. He's like, I wanted to educate me. Period. I love that. You know what I'm saying? What is this? Talk about what happened to Black people during the H in Germany. I'm sure, of course it was. You guys have to remember that the African race was everywhere. We're everywhere. Our downfall is we did not have enough weapons. That's it. We didn't have enough weapons. I believe we were peaceful people. When you don't have weapons and you're at peace and your neighbor is warmongering and blowing up everything, sooner or later they're coming to you. That's just what's going to happen. And so if you look, watch again. I don't know what's in the movie. I'm gonna finish watching it. Period. It's on Amazon. Here's the crazy shit. Here's the crazy part. Man, listen. That movie, I went on Amazon, right? And because I heard is it Sarah Silverman? No, what's her name? I don't know. Whatever. Mila Kunis. She's leading this charge. Oh, we're going to sign this petition to get the movie taken down from Amazon. And so I go, oh, yeah, let me check it out. Because I wasn't going to buy it. But from that article, I bought it. Do you realize that movie is $50? $50. I never paid $50. Top Gun ain't $50. $50 for Hebrews to Negroes. 50 and it's $12 to rent it. I bought it. Not only I bought it on that TV, and I realized, oh shit, that ain't even my account. So now I gotta buy it again so I can share it with my friends. You know, it's because I want to do a debate over it. The point I'm making, $50. When you know why they ain't messing with Jeff? Because he's like, kiss my ass. Start your own business. Then now they hide behind freedom of speech. I don't hear people protesting Amazon. I bet all y'all got packages this week. But that's where the movie's at. And Shaquille O'Neal, I don't know what happened to him and Charles Barkley. How you going to call this brother an idiot and your movie theater is showing the movie? Come on, Black men, we got to do better. Like, seriously, I can see, you got a job, you have a boss. I get it. See what I'm saying? We go back to the old school. I'll bootleg you a copy for $2.99. Matter of fact, I'll play it and send you the video. You know people doing that. But the hypocrisy in our men, like, come on, like first of all, another brother should not call a brother an idiot. Period. That's not cool. That ain't cool. So, but it's what's happening.
yes, indeed. So anyway, we are about to get out of here.
Target. Buy the Target stock options. You can get the 180 January calls for, they're like $1 something. You can go to June. I'm telling you, go to stock options, your E-Trade account, and get those January 180, 185, 200s are like $1, $2 for something that was $70. I'm telling you, when Target, no Adidas, Nike's the only shoe. Actually, my boy wrote that. I don't want either one. But go open your brokerage account. So when these stocks start getting hit, you could buy Target. It's on sale. That's what we should be doing. If we were doing that, like my son walks in the door and say, hey, yo, what's going on with Target in the morning? And he sits down and he gets on the computer and does research. Then his mind is occupied. He's not watching Tooted and Booted or Shake It Like a Tail Feather. And by the way, you guys, Jews didn't write those songs. Black people did.
But they paid them to do it though.
We get paid to do dumb shit all the time.
Yeah, at some point in time though, we got to say, you know what? Like Dave Chappelle, if you're going to be anybody in life, be Dave Chappelle. When they wanted him, as he said, when he came out, was it the third season or whatever, when they wanted to pay him, when he walked away from the $50 million, he said, the stuff they wanted me to do, they were no longer going to be laughing with me. They were going to be laughing at me. He says, I could not do that to my people. I was not going to sell that image to them. So it was easy for me to walk away from that money than to have to deal with what they wanted me to do. And he said, they said I was crazy and all this other stuff. And then, you know, he came back from it. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to say, I'm not going to do that to my people. I tell people all the time, study, step, and fetch it. Lincoln, Lincoln Perry was his name. He had a whole bunch of presidential names, but Lincoln Perry, step and fetch it. They paid him a bunch of money. In fact, I talk about this all the time because I think it's important that we study history and we study him. Step and fetch it. Y'all know they dubbed him as the laziest Negro in the world, where he was that kind of thing. He was on Our Gang, Little Rascals, and all of that. Well, they paid him. He was the first millionaire Black actor in America. And this was in the 1920s and 30s. So they paid him so much money. But it got to a point to where white supremacy was like, yeah, okay, we good. We're not laughing at you anymore. Then he wanted to come back to Black people. And they said, nah, we good with you because you ran around telling everybody he was the laziest Negro you can't read. I saw one of the episodes. I was like, golly.
Oh, on the
Our Gang, the Little Rascals. They was like, oh, read this. And he was like, well, I can't read. And they paid him a lot of money to act like that. And so when Black people's like, no, bruh, you can't come back to us. He died an alcoholic, alone, and broke. So the point that I'm making about bringing up Step and Fetch It, and Dave Chappelle was like, nah, I ain't finna be no Step and Fetch It. Y'all not gonna pay me a lot of money to put this image out about my people. And I have to answer to that at the end of the day. After y'all giving me all this money, my people and their opinion about me and what I will do to them matters. And so, yes, Black people are writing that music. Black people are singing that music, but good and hell well, they're not paying them that kind of money to be the next X-Clan, the next Public Enemy, or any of those conscious groups that we used to listen to back in the day. They're not paying them to be KRS-One, Boogie Down Production. They're not paying them to be that. In fact, the conscious rap is now underground, when the other way around, the nasty stuff used to be underground, but where's the conscious rap at anymore? So I get what you're saying. But at some point in time, people need to say, I'm good. If you want to pay me for my talent, then you're going to need to pay me to do something that is more helpful to my people, because you, record executive, you don't put your woman out there half naked. You don't put her out there talking about what she going to suck and what she going to F. You don't put your sons out there on the track to talk about killing and doing drugs and all that other stuff. So don't ask me to do that to my people. But see, we know there's a bigger message in that is, let's keep back Black people sleep by keeping them operating in their lower desires where they can't think straight. They always talking about sex, drugs, and alcohol and partying and getting the bag and all this other stuff, to where they won't be able to see, hey, we need to unify. We need to unify. Let's get our own record companies. And I know that's hard to do, but those record companies.
It's not.
Those record companies ain't. I know, but I'm saying those record companies wouldn't be nothing without Black talent, just like those basketball courts, those football fields, or any of those other places would not be nothing without Black people. But until we wake up, and I'm going to say this too, and I really want to start driving this point home I don't celebrate Christmas, but I know that we do as Black people. We are the largest consumer. We're going to spend the most money. Don't you take your ass out there and buy not Nan Nike, not Nan Adidas, or any of this other stuff of these companies that are harmful to our people. Don't put another dime in their pocket, because if you do, you are complicit in helping white supremacy oppressed Black people. Now I know we done been here a long time. We gotta go. Love y'all very dearly. We will see y'all.
This.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm gonna end with this. Dave Chappelle is a pillar. He did it right. Here's one thing Dave Chappelle had when he did exit: cash, money. He was stacked, and it put him in a position so he could take his conscience and his dollar, put those two together, and he could go do what he needed to do. It makes it easier when you have wealth to make those decisions. I'm not making an excuse for it, but when it just makes sense to save a bunch of fucking money, stack it up, buy a couple houses, or do something, I don't know, do something with it. Do something with it. F Christmas. I'm not buying shit for Christmas. Not even my grandkids. I'm giving them, yo, here's a Target stock certificate. There you go. Hit me up. You're going to cry if you want to. Actually, they ain't even them crying. It's their parents. They be the ones. I ain't getting them shit. I'm not standing my black ass in line. I'm not wrapping no gifts. I ain't going to be here on the 24th wrapping nothing. I'm going to have a glass of wine in my hand, and I'm going to be doing something for me. F those kids and F that holiday. I tell you what, when you see Jesus, then I start buying gifts.
Oh, hell.
Until then, I ain't buying. I tell you what, you know what I'm going to be buying Christmas Eve? Stocks and bonds, period. Like the people that we buy shit from on Christmas. You get to that point, then we can holler. Until then, you just feeding the system. So stop complaining because you are feeding. I didn't realize Adidas had a shoe until Kanye popped up. I said, Adidas still make shoes? Since when?
Exactly. Well, hopefully they won't make it anymore because we won't put any in our their pocket. Yes, Brother Janelle, thank you so much. Thank y'all so much to everybody for being here. We'll be back here, I think, on Sunday. I have something to do, so hopefully I'll be back here in time enough to do the show on Sunday, but I think that I will. So in the meantime, you guys stay safe out there. We love you dearly, and watch for my videos on this channel and the African Diaspora News channel. Subscribe to both if you haven't already, and we also have ways to donate to the channel, help the channel. Thank you so much to all the members and everybody who donate. See y'all later. Peace.